Savage was recently talking about Melania Trump on his show Savage Love, and he did go savage against Melania Trump. Now, a lot of liberals are arguing that, hey, Melania Trump should be off limits. Just because she happens to be the first lady doesn't mean that she should be attacked. But Dan Savage isn't buying it. In fact, he had some pretty harsh words for the first lady that I want to read to you. He said, "God knows there's enough hate in the world, and I don't want to add to the sum total, but forgive me. I have to get this off my chest. I fucking hate Melania Trump."
Damn, shots fired.
Yeah, so he continues, "I'm not alone in loathing Donald Trump's third wife. She's married to a misogynist after all. Odds are good her husband hates her too."
That's a funny twist of logic.
Yes, yes. Now, here's the part that I actually do agree with him on. There's considerable disagreement between the two of us on this story, but here's the part I do agree with. He says, there are some folks on the left who not only don't hate her, they view her as some sort of sympathetic figure. The pretty princess in the tower locked up by the orange ogre with a bad comb-over, a princess desperately blinking out distress signals during swearing-in ceremonies and inaugural balls. Okay, so I actually really do hate that perception that some liberals have, right? They'll analyze her body language and they're like, oh, poor Melania, like she's held captive and this. No, she made her decision. She just never really wanted to be the first lady and she never expected it, but she made her decision. She wanted to marry him. They're married. I don't think that she's held captive at all. And so don't cry for her in that regard. But my argument is, don't go after her for ridiculous things like the fact that she posed nude or that she did salacious photo shoots. She was a model, and who cares if she did that? That's not worth attacking her for.
Yeah, there are different parts where me, you, and Dan Savage agree and disagree.
Yes.
So he goes on to say that he thinks that some liberals don't want to attack her because she's pretty, and they assume that being pretty means that you're pretty on the inside. No. I don't know any liberals who think that. I don't know where he got that from.
We attack pretty people all the time.
Yes,
like Tomi Lauren's pretty, we attack her.
Sarah Palin's pretty. I mean, you should see the videos we've done on her.
Yeah.
And the list goes on and on. I don't think her attractiveness has anything to do with it at all.
No.
So I don't know where he got that from. Okay, now, but he did swing me on the substance. Now, you shouldn't attack her just for being a first lady. I actually defended Laura Bush significantly, and some people would bring out Bush did a car accident in her youth, and they say, oh, she's this and that. Like, guys, look, that was an accident, and she's not her husband. She tries to rein him in from time to time, but anyway, she's not a political person. I don't care about her,
right.
And like, there's no need to go into that. There's just, and it's the same thing with conservatives that went after Michelle Obama, but Melania Trump has entered the political sphere in a couple of different ways.
She has. We have an example for you. So I want to go ahead and toss to that. Let's take a quick look and see what Melania Trump had to say about Obama's citizenship.
Do you want to see President Obama birth certificate or not?
I've seen it.
It's not the birth certificate.
Well, it's a certificate of live birth,
right,
which they give. But Melania, if he insists on what he's saying, then no one in Hawaii can ever run for president because they all get the same live birth certificate.
Well, but they need to
Bette
have.
Midler is finished, for example.
They need to have, and in one way, it will be very easy if President Obama just show it, and because it's not only Donald who wants to see it. It's American people who voted for him and who didn't vote for him. They want to see that.
Yeah, no, I can't stand her. So the number one reason that gets under my skin is not the usual racism that goes along with that. It's that she's an immigrant.
Yeah.
And then we found out during the campaign that actually it looks like she had the wrong kind of visa. She didn't have permission to work. She did it anyway. In some ways, she was an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
And then she has the nerve to turn around and say Obama's not a real American. Okay, spare me your views on real Americans, Melania Trump, who came here on the wrong visa. Okay, and married a guy for, all right, if it's not for money, it's actually worse. But I want to say that to the end about my views on Melania and marrying Donald Trump. But so, look, if you thought Michelle Obama entered the political sphere by saying kids should stay in shape, Okay, I guess you could attack her for that. No, kids shouldn't stay in shape, right? But Laura Bush wanted kids to read. No, kids shouldn't read. But generally, those are kind of harmless, right? Hillary Clinton, by the way, when she was the first lady, did enter the political sphere. She tried to do the health care proposal. And you want to attack her on that policy, totally fair game, right? And Melania, in this regard, is a giant hypocrite. And I think Dan Savage made an even better point on the policy grounds. He said she's going after journalists and bloggers with giant lawsuits saying they're interfering with her ability to profit off of her role as first lady.
There is nuance in that, and I don't think that he was fair in making that statement. So
okay, why? What do you think is the nuance?
So the Daily Mail, which is a tabloid outlet from the UK, had essentially published something that indicated that she had worked as an escort, okay? Which is defamatory. There's no evidence that she worked as an escort, and the Daily Mail actually took that piece down as a result. And so she is suing the Daily Mail for defamation. And during the lawsuit, one of her lawyers said that this defamation is harmful to her career because it could affect her ability, her once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to sell her products, because she has this once-in-a-life opportunity as the first lady. So that's the nuance.
I don't think that's unfair at all.
I do think it's unfair.
If you say that the Daily Mail is wrong, I agree with you.
Yeah.
If you say she should sue, okay, I get it. It's a little weird because you're the first lady, but I get it. I understand. And if somebody says something about you that's that wrong and it's bad, I get it, right? But saying I have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get rich as first lady.
No, she deserves to get criticized for that because you are not supposed to use your position as first lady to profit and sell your products. So I agree with that criticism. But that statement of she's brought ruinous lawsuits against journalists and bloggers. No, she's brought a lawsuit against a tabloid that implied that she worked as an escort, and that's not the same as going after journalists.
Yeah. Now look. Non-political for a second on Melania Trump. And Savage goes on saying Melania Trump is as ugly on the inside as she is pretty on the outside. I don't know why Melania Trump got so much under Dan Savage's skin. I haven't given it this much thought because she hasn't been in the political sphere that much. Right. Other than some of the things we just outlined, right? And she's a plagiarist. I don't care at all. Apparently, a lot of people are plagiarists. It happens much more frequently than I realized. Okay. She married Donald Trump. Now let's break it down. There's two possibilities. One is, keep it real, she married him for the money. Okay. Now let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say she didn't do that. That's unfair. You don't know that. Maybe they have a deep connection, right? Okay. Think about that. Think about how much worse that is. She has a connection with this guy. Like, we know how much of a narcissist, empty-headed fool he is. She met this guy and was like, oh my God, he's the Donald. Almost everything he says is a lie. He's an imbecile. He goes around saying,
I'm like a smart person.
I'm like a smart person. And who knew healthcare could be so complicated? Nobody knew. I mean, he's a class A moron. And he's like obsessed with himself. He brags nonstop, he lies nonstop. Melania looked at that guy and thought, he is the one guy in the world I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with.
But it goes further than that because yeah, he's a narcissistic moron. There's no question about that. But there's also the way that he treats women, the way that he refers to women, calling them, fat pigs, talking about grabbing them by their genitalia, like all of that stuff.
Some of those, by the way, sexual harassment or sexual assault stories came out, was happening while he was married to Melania Trump.
Yes.
And in the middle of an interview about what a great family life they had, when Melania went upstairs while she was pregnant, he tried to get the reporter to have sex with him. Okay, that's the classy guy he is. But look, I don't want to parse this particular issues in their marriage because people got issues in their marriage. I understand that. But anyone who married Donald Trump and thought I nailed it, this guy's the best guy in the world, at a minimum, you've got judgment issues. Okay, I'm not sure I trust your judgment. At a minimum. You know who created journalism you could be proud of? You did. Our audience helped us hire an investigative reporting team. Now we're gonna go for a second. tytnetwork.com/go. Let's build the best reporting team in the country together.